Getting Over It with Bennet Foddy is a strange game. And I don't mean it's a strange game because the titular character... Titular? It's not in the title at all. Because the main character has a hammer and is in a pot and is a stock Unity asset. No. It's strange in how it's made me feel about it. It's done what a lot of games fail to do. And what that is change my mind.
No.
Playing through this game was strangely transformative, at least in how I viewed it. I hated this game. Hated it for my entire first playthrough. The whole thing, except for maybe... My first playthrough was about 4.5 hours. I think I loathed the game for 4 of those. And then my second playthrough was an hour, and I started to kind of like it. And my third playthrough was 20 minutes, and by that time I was having a grand bit of fun. And it's strange. That doesn't happen to me very often. Not that I don't change my mind very often, but the game didn't change. It didn't suddenly all click together in the last in the last half hour. It didn't reveal some truth or something like that. In Dark Souls parlance, you'd say I got good. I get good. Something like that, but it's a bit more complicated than that. What I hated about this game, what I raged about and quit and quit and quit, I mean, quit might not be the right term, because quit implies you didn't come back. I took aggressive breaks while playing this game. That's a good term for it. Aggressive breaks. Because, man, I was getting frustrated doing all the stuff you're seeing. And what made it so frustrating was that this game controls weird. You're not really controlling one-to-one movement, the hammer. You're controlling a space, and it's the cursor that you see, that is where you want the hammer to be, and then the hammer moves to it. And it's also not quite that freeform. It's restricted to where the hammer currently is. It's weird, and it's not quite where your mouse is going. It's tied to this hammer physics object. It's very strange to control, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And that was my kind of reason that I was saying for hating it for most of the game. It didn't feel good to control. It felt cumbersome and clunky and just a pain in the ass. Not a good feeling. And when you fall down off a huge cliff and have to reset your progress way, way, way back to tasks that you really didn't feel comfortable beating the first time, that you maybe got through on more luck than skill, and it just, by flinging yourself at it, it eventually worked. And now you have to do it again? Ooh. Oh, that grated on me, and I ended up saying, I'm taking a break because this feels so bad to play. I don't want to play it anymore because it feels so bad. And yet, because I like challenge and I was galled by the idea that I could be beaten so easily by this crappy asset using low effort thing, that I kept playing, and eventually I got good. The hammer felt more natural. The trajectories I could kind of figure out in my head. I started going faster, and when I would fall down for the 17th time from that stupid orange cliff, I got back up there pretty fast, and that was a satisfying process. I don't think I'll make it here. Nope, maybe. Nope, the hat blocked me. Darn. By the time that I'm playing it now, and I've beat it first probably a day or two ago, I'm not sure. I've cleared the mountain. Maybe this might be my 10th go around, something like that. And it's no longer a question of, oh, I don't like that this game has beaten me. I must complete it for my pride as a gamer man. It's more that I'm actually enjoying the process of climbing now, and darn. And I think a large part of that is not just that I've come to understand the control scheme, but I think a lot of it is tied up into how much trouble I had with the control scheme. Ooh, this might not work. Nope. And of course, you can see I'm still having trouble doing what I want to, but nowhere near as much as that first playthrough. Or my second. Ooh. Too much pepper. Damn it. I was struck when I was thinking about this that this is an argument of, you know, it's not bad. The controls are fine. You just need to get good and understand. I've been on the other side of that argument before. And I've been on the other side of that argument with one of my favorite games of all time, and it's maybe a lot of people's favorite game of all time. And that's Resident Evil 4. Oh, damn it! It's not even a hard jump. Resident Evil 4. Tank controls. That game needs tank controls. The whole crux of the game, all of the gameplay... Darn, I'm really having trouble here. All of it is predicated on Leon being a little clunky. He's not an easy protagonist to use. He's not hard. The controls in that game are responsive and crisp, and I mean, they're a lot better than this, but darn it, I'm having some real trouble with an easy part of the game. Of course it happens while I'm recording, but you know what, that's fine. Failing and getting over it is kind of an integral part of the experience. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 tank controls I've defended as being, you know, absolutely necessary. The kind of thing that it's really, to a seasoned player of RE4, playing them, like, say, on the Wii or something where you have touch point controls, no! Is, like, awful, because the game is way too easy. It has none of the pacing, none of the difficulty, none of the things that make that game interesting. It's stripped away. And other games that ditch the tank controls, you can feel their absence. You can tell that a lot of the design was from the character being difficult to control. I realized I had argued this fight before on the other side, and it was a strange feeling. It was peculiar. So I thought I'd make a video just talking about it, talking about the weird experience I had with this game. Alright, no screw-ups this time. Yep. Not to give the impression that I'm good at Bennet Foddy's getting over it. I'm not a speedrunner. People clear this game fast with no mistakes. It's incredible. I don't do that. I'm just playing it for a bit of fun. This isn't a good one. I don't like this bucket. I don't like it. The rest of the game I like. I don't like this bucket. But it's a good time. As long as you're willing to put in X amount of extremely frustrating hours until you grok the controls, which are bad, but not insurmountable. I suppose I've been on the other side of this conversation for Dark Souls as well, but Dark Souls is just a matter of the combat being... the controls being deliberate. Things that you do take some time. There's no animation canceling for the most part. That's less an issue of people saying the controls are bad and more that everything feels sluggish, and it does. But that's the same kind of argument, I think, as I was thinking about this game as. It's bad until it's not bad, until you understand it, and then when you understand it, it feels pretty good. This might be okay. Yeah! Excellent. Oh! Please no. And, I mean, if I didn't like it... Nope, that's not going to be good enough. Wah! Please no. Don't want to go back to the bucket. I just thought that was strange. But the frustration of not just failing a task and having to go back to the beginning, I mean... God, how many roguelikes have that just aren't that frustrating? Because playing them is a pleasure. You fail at Spelunky at some point, and you have to go back to the beginning, and it feels fine because that game is fun. That game is a good time, whether you're on the first level or you're on Olmec. That's fine. It's all good. It's all pleasant, pleasurable. This game is not like that. Until you've got it, and I won't say that I've got it, but until you are having a grand old time with the controls... Shit! I don't know how to do this. I just kind of flail at it until it works. It's miserable. It's legitimately miserable. Until it's not. And then it's pretty good. I'm reminded that I don't do this very often. Usually, my first impressions with games are my final impressions. If they didn't hook me, if I'm having a bad time at hour 2, I'm gonna be having a bad time at hour 10. I can't think of the last game I played that made me rethink my position on it. Made me go, you know what? I hated this, but now I love it. Even games that say they have a huge steep learning curve, the early XCOMs, Dwarf Fortress, that kind of stuff. I was never as miserable in the early learning phases as I was on my first run of this game. I was never hateful. I was just like, yeah, this is going to take some getting used to. I'll get it eventually, and that's that. Ah, this might be good enough. It is. Alright. We're now on to phase 2 of this stupid mountain. Maybe I can do it in one try and really impress the nobody watching. I don't mean to say that you're a nobody. I mean to say that it's unlikely anybody has made it this far in the video. This part of the ice cliff, I think that's a good spot. There are some hooks that you can get your hammer into. This should be good enough. I just gotta... No! Ooh! I got lucky here, boys. That didn't need to happen. I was very likely going all the way down. Like right now. Nope! Ooh! Here we go. Well, I had a lot less trouble that time than I usually do. Yeah, Bennet Foddy's getting over it. I was wrong about your game, sir. I was wrong about your game. I mean, I didn't I didn't shit talk it to anybody. I didn't go onto a forum and say, "Ah, your game is so bad. Golly gosh, this shit. It's fake difficulty." But I was thinking it. I did have those thoughts. And, no, the terrible garbage, does serve a purpose. And it's an interesting... God, it's an interesting project that you've taken trash, as Bennet Foddy himself says. This is a game made of trash. It can only be a trash game. Trash in the... in the sense that these are all objects with no real relevance to how they look, their, you know, artistic merit, their style. They're all... damn it. They're all just yanked off the store, and, you know, it's an experiment. How about I grab whatever I can, whatever assets, it doesn't matter. No! And can I make a game out of it that's compelling? Not just can I throw together a level that will be fun for me, but can I do something compelling with all this random garbage? Can the mechanic be enough? And yeah, a weird control scheme. It got me, man. It's compelling. Getting good with this was a treat, and I think it's a singular treat because I haven't gotten anything quite like this. It's unique. It's pretty. It shines. And I wouldn't have guessed it. I wouldn't have guessed it 4 hours in. Interesting. It's interesting. That's all. That's the game. That's my thoughts on it. Getting over it with Bennet Foddy. Good stuff. Well done.